Welcome to the Computer Repair Podcast, episode number 267, Aisle8. I'm your host, Jeff Halash. I'm joined today by Alaina.Martin from Aisle8, where we get our great Arachnus products from. Alaina, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you today?
I am doing excellent. This has been a long time coming.
It has.
I,
It has.
I think I met you guys back in 2015 at CompTIA
hmm
on the vendor floor, and you guys were giving away watt boxes,
Yes. We've
which
given away a lot of watt vaxes over the past couple of years.
Which is great because that is something that a lot of people in the industry don't really think of them needing
hmm
until you have to talk to a customer and say, "No, the switch on the back of the thing, push that. No, not that switch. The other. Don't unplug the cable.
Yep.
Do this, do that."
hmm
So it's very hard sometimes for people the regular consumers that we support to
hmm
be able to turn something off and turn it on again, believe it or not.
Exactly. Exactly. But the watt box is just a really cool, innovative product that we wanted to solve for that exact pain. So that pain of that conversation with you and your client of don't touch this, unplug this, please don't touch that, and so we have developed an IP capable PDU. It's a surge protector by nature. And then you have independent control over each outlet. And so when we give these away, we definitely want you to try them. It isn't a fun box. Don't have it just sitting on the side of your desk. It's one of those things that I talk to a lot of partners, and um, they may have had it on their desk for a year or so because they're just super busy, and evaluating products isn't always, while we all love to do it and open a brand new box, it's like Christmas to us, to play with new technology. But business is first, and that can be time consuming, obviously. So once we get it out of the box and we get it all configured and set up, introduce you guys to the cloud platform behind it, that's when I see a lot of light bulbs go off, and you get the, man, I really wish I've had this for the longest time. I can't believe it's been sitting on my desk for so long. So anytime we get that experience, and then most of the time we see a rollout, and it ends up at every client site, whether it's a residential application or a commercial application or a big business. So.
That's awesome. And I'm one of the guilty ones because I think I got my Watt box back in 2015,
hmm
and I've never used it until I think probably about 8 months ago, maybe something like that. I decided for my office, I had some outlets that were going bad. So I decided
hmm
to buy a 12 outlet
Yeah.
Watt box for my particular office and plug everything in. And it's beautiful. I love it. I will never go back. Those are the things that I will buy because you can control each outlet separately, which is really cool, especially for things like your cable modem.
Yep. That's
There's no
probably the
oh,
modem, your router, if that gets hung up, any device that really becomes unresponsive, that's a great feature or a great product to use behind. And then it's, even after you do even if you do a remote firmware update on devices, sometimes they need a power cycle afterwards to have everything sync up. Well, if you can do the firmware remote update, then why then have that conversation after the fact with your client? Hey, go unplug this. Might as well just do everything from behind the curtain.
that's awesome. All right, let's take it because we're going to go into some of the other products and services that you guys offer that will do a lot of those things for us. The Watt
hmm
box is just the beginning, but I want to kind of open with that because that's kind of where I found you guys
Right.
and figured out, hey, let's try some of these other products and services. But why don't you give a little background of Aisle8, kind of where you all came from and what you've been doing for the company? Because I'm gathering you've been with them for quite a while.
Yep, it'll be 7 years this year.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely love it. I mean, it's a new adventure every day. And so, first and foremost, we were actually born in 2006. We have a sister company, Snap AV, that really is geared towards the residential AV market. So, home theaters, control and automation, smart homes, and obviously with the Internet of Things and everything, really not even just from a media perspective, but in general, really starting to be very heavily network related. We started to see a lot of IT integrators coming to Snap for whether it was products like the Wapbox or the cloud or Arachnus networks. But those are two very separate business models, an AV integrator and an IT business, you know. So Aisle8 was officially born as a separate store in 2014 to service IT integrators specifically. You know, so the website, all the products and pricing are the same because as a whole, we are a manufacturer first and foremost. We were born originally in 2006 from integrators who just were not happy with a standard distribution model, the pain of particular types of shopping or not having something in stock and having to wait for weeks on end. And these guys were very heavily invested in product margin. It's a little different on like the managed services side where maybe things in an SLA are at cost and then you sign a contract for a long amount of time versus individual project work or more of like a break fix model where you know, they get paid for the services being on site and for the work and the labor that they do there. So we kind of needed to build a store that really catered more towards an IT business model. And so even things with the website, tools that we have where if you're in the quoting process, you can kind of start, press pause, save it to a job list and go back and pick right up from that. You don't have to keep building these quotes from scratch every time you need to make a little tweak. But, you know, when you hop on the website first, you'll see, you know, look at our new networking products, look at our new, you know, power products, IP UPSs that came out late last year. We'll talk about that in just a little bit because that's exciting too. But we really just needed to segment. So Aisle8 was born in 2014, and that's where we really started to hit the IT channel, going to places like CompTIA, independent trade shows to industry trade shows, just to really get the name out there, get people used to seeing us. From a manufacturing standpoint, we have I want to say we're at like 30 categories at this point, and about 16 or 17 brands specifically. So what we do is we have over 100 people downstairs in product development. Our headquarters is in Charlotte, North Carolina. We have a whole group of product development folks downstairs that are all segregated into separate categories. So we have a project manager or a product manager over surveillance. We have one over networking. We have one over cables and bulk wire. So because we have a big store with a lot of SKUs, we treat each brand like it's its own independent type of business. So they look at what's going on in the market, what features are needed. And the great thing with, you know, working with a company like Aisle8 is you have a direct line to those folks. So if we're talking about networking equipment and, you know, you're running into somewhere where in this industry, my favorite term is, well, in theory, because when we think about it on paper, the answer is, well, in theory, it should work. And then there's always something that will pop up that maybe you didn't think about, or there's a setting somewhere. And we can take all of that feedback directly back to the guys that build the product. We have beta cycles with new products, which I'm currently working with some of our other friends who are on the show frequently, who are enrolled in beta. And so some of the new stuff that's coming up down the pipe, they will be the first ones to have their hands on it and be able to go directly back to PD and say, I like this, I don't like that, I wish it did this. And you can even see that evolution in something like the Wapbox. So the one that you probably got 3 years ago now was probably it was a 3 outlet model, but maybe only 2 of them at the time were controllable. So we got a lot of partner feedback even on just the spacing of the outlets. The outlets were too close together, so they didn't have enough room for certain device bricks that made it not as usable. And they really wish that 3rd outlet was independently controllable too and not just always on. So we take that back. They go to, you know, version 2.0, version 3.0, and 3.5, and who knows what else. And then they finally come to, you know, a product that's ready for mass production. It gets put into inventory, and there she goes. So that's kind of the original backstory, and then full circle kind of where we are now. We have over 5,000 partners in the IT space specifically that work with us. We've given out quite a few off boxes, and that's still a fun treat to find the guy that hasn't used it yet and then see that light bulb go off. So Yeah, been there 7 years, and who knows, I'll be there 7 more.
Awesome. That's a great backstory, and yeah, I'm glad I learned a lot about the company just from that story there. Now, moving forward, one of the things that I had the Wattbox, didn't use it.
Mhm,
I actually had a problem, and I think you heard this on a previous show, but I had a problem with my router,
mhm.
and I was buying consumer grade routers, and basically what I ended up doing was, John Dubinsky, who's obviously one of my co-hosts
Yep.
and a good friend of you guys and, this show. He basically said, "Hey, I've just pulled a bunch of these out of some other customers that they're moving on or shutting their business down or whatever."
Right.
So he had these routers, and he's like, "Hey, you want me" actually, he had sent me one. It was sitting in my closet.
Right next to the
Again.
Watt box.
Exactly, yes. Actually, it was. And so what I ended up doing was I called him and I go, "Man, I'm having this weird internet problem," and I was thinking it was the cable because I've had that problem before, and I'm sitting there trying to diagnose it, and you get
Mhm.
frustrated when your own stuff is broke. When it's your
Right.
customers, not as much, but when your own stuff is broke, you're like, "All I wanna do is my just work."
Yep.
And so I ended up pulling that thing down. We reset it, set it I was on the phone with him, set it up real quick, started playing around with it, installed Oversee, which is
Mhm,
basically the command and control module for all of
mhm.
your equipment for
Yep.
the networking space. And I was like, I said, I will never, ever go back to a consumer router again. As a matter of
Mhm,
fact, even for my residential customers,
mhm.
that's what I recommend. I'm like, listen, yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to cost you a little bit more. And, but the thing is, you're going to be much happier
Mhm.
because I've had good solid throughput. I've got at any given time in this house, I've got 20 plus devices that are running through this equipment
Yep.
and everything is rock solid. The wonderful thing about it, talking about Overseer and being able to control it, is one of the things that I was able to do, even without a watt box, you can actually reset your switches. You can
Mhm.
reset your router. So I just have it do it once a week.
Yeah. You can put it on
And
the schedule. You can
exactly.
schedule
So
them, it's great.
you don't have to touch it. You don't have to think about it. It's already done for you. And that will take care of probably 70% of the problems that we have with our end consumers out there that are using this stuff because it never gets reset. And maybe it doesn't need to be reset, but at least that takes one of the diagnostics
Absolutely.
out of the way. And then we can move on from there
First step
and
of
go.
troubleshooting, why not automate
Exactly. There you go.
it?
Step one is this, step 2, and move on from there. So,
Absolutely.
what
And hope to introduce you to, I don't know if you've seen that, I believe it was released last year or maybe earlier last year, but a client services app. So within Oversee, and we do have a secondary layer of Oversee with our Oversee Pro Hub, but without the Pro Hub and just normal Oversee, you bought a device. Again, we're a hardware manufacturer. We're not in the software game by any means, but we've got about 35 guys that work specifically just on Oversee downstairs. We treat it like it's its own product. We try to do, monthly new updates, releases, bug fixes, whatever's needed. But within that portal, so you have your list of clients, you have your list of devices at each client site, but you can actually get, let's just say, like your wife, for example, right? You're out traveling and something happened, right? Now the network's not working and I don't know what to do. You can actually give her an app that says reset my network. And that literally could just do a sequence power cycle on your modem and router off of the watt box if you have one. Let's say the Wi-Fi is not working in your house and you've got some APs hanging out there. You can say reset my Wi-Fi, and that was going to power cycle a PoE port on your switch. But it's not anything that anybody has to get up. Nobody's got to touch anything in the rack. We even have like a little trigger. I call it the doorbell for people. Maybe they don't need an app, or maybe an app is a little too advanced for that particular client. Who knows? But it's a little doorbell. You can double side stick tape it to a rack rail or to a wall, and that's going to initiate the same command as the app would, or if you manually went into Oversee and reset those particular outlets. um, Oversee from a cloud portal is just going to continue to grow. So right now all of Arachnus networks are available in Oversee. All of our IP watt boxes and our new IP UPSs can be seen in Oversee. as well as surveillance equipment. And we just added IP amplifiers too, not too long ago. So it's
Nice.
just we're trying to get it as eventually we wanted to have a really robust platform. And the next step up from standard Oversee is Oversee Pro. It's a little device that lives on the LAN. It looks like a little PoE injector, and that actually opens up Oversee to third-party devices. So I might be your go-to for switches, but maybe you guys have standardized on like a Sonic Wall solution for your firewall, for some of your business clients. You can still get to the UI of your Sonic Wall device through the Oversee portal. So you don't have to keep jump. It's hard when there's a lot of one panes of glass out there that you can
Yes.
kind of choose from. And then you start using a few of them, and now you got three panes of glass that, are your window into everything. So, we're baby stepping it right now, and slowly but surely, it's just going to keep getting bigger and better. I'm excited.
One of the things that I really like about your products, and even on the software side, is the stuff works. In
Hmm.
the exact scenario we were saying, my wife calls me and says, "Hey, the internet's down. What's going on?" I can whip out my phone and
Yep.
just go, "Hey, hold on one sec," and
Yep.
push a button, and boom, there you go. Everything's reset, and I'm done.
Mhm.
Is it back up? Yep. Awesome. Let's move on with our day.
That's right. 2 seconds. I love it. That's the best part about it. And not for nothing, it's free.
Yeah, exactly. Because let's face it, there are a lot of products out there that will charge you to have that same type of management, but you
Absolutely.
guys are selling the hardware, you're getting it out there, and you're getting the capability of being able to control that remotely, which to me is awesome.
Hmm.
Now, I've got managed switches, PoE switches. I've got everything on my whole network now is all Arachnus.
Hmm.
And because the stuff works, the APs,
Yep.
I use one AP up in an
They're great.
office.
Yeah, I love our APs. They're strong little
Solid.
suckers.
They're solid, and here's the thing, in a 2,400 square foot home, my smart TV and everything is down on the lower floor,
Hmm.
and I can watch through the Xbox One, through the smart TV, Netflix, Amazon Prime, whatever, and
Yep.
it actually runs better than when I had it plugged in hardwired down there,
Hmm.
going through the outlet. I'm just like going, "You know what? No wires, the AP works, and
Yep.
it's one, and it literally covers from my street all the way into my backyard."
Yeah,
That's how strong this thing is.
it's got some really powerful range for sure. Even the 300 series, which the 300 and the 100 were our first APs. So the 100 is just a single band, wireless end. The 300 is a dual band wireless end, but then we have our 5 and 700 series, which are wireless AC. And so we just launched late last year our outdoor AP as well. So that, if there's any sort of common area, we've got guys that do, commercial work for multi-dwelling units and apartment complexes and student housing, and they have these common areas, and you just stick one of them on the side of the wall, and the whole outside's covered too. So from inside to outside, handoff is great. We've done some really cool projects in repeater mode. Like, things there's a lot of different applications, and you go, okay, here's the functionality of the product I have. How can I make this work? And then if it doesn't work, I'll tell you, hey, listen, it's just not the product for you. Or if it works, then here's how we're going to get it done. So have a ton of faith and trust in those products. They've been around for years now. And again, being able to go right downstairs to when in theory, this should work and it doesn't, to go downstairs and knock on the doors of the guys that built it is awesome.
That is very cool. And I'll tell you, as far as being able to take these products, when I go into a customer's, business or home, and they might have had several different IT people that have come in over time and, "Hey, let's add this, let's add
Hmm.
that, let's put this together," and you've got this kludge of products that are basically fighting against each other. I go, "Listen, let's just
I
get
hate
rid
to
of
say it, but we
all
got
of
to
this,
start over again.
and yep, let's start, and I'm gonna put all this stuff in, and it's gonna work,
Hmm.
and, if it doesn't, we'll do something else, but I'm
Sure.
telling you, because I use it myself, it's one of those things, I eat my
Yep.
own dog food,
Absolutely.
so it works in my home, we can make it work in your home, we can make it work in your business,
Yep.
and it's phenomenal. And I am using the 300 series for the wireless access point, and it's just like I said,
Yeah.
rock solid. I can't believe they're in. You see all these routers with the Wi-Fi and different things like that, and they
Mhm.
got the antennas. And I at first I thought that was cool until it looked
Mhm.
like garbage on the wall. With all these, and you got to move the antenna, and I got to go this way to get over
Mhm.
here, and it's like it's nuts.
Yeah.
So you've got this little box that basically you can put anywhere and just hang it on the wall. It's flat,
Yep.
it blends in, it's beautiful. So
Absolutely.
it
Yep.
works better than the other ones. So
Right.
that's all I'm gonna say.
I got it. Absolutely. And I mean, that's just Arachnus is a great brand of ours. That's going to keep expanding. I'll give a little bit of insider information here. We do have, I believe, either 3 or 4 new routers coming. They're in development currently. I believe beta is just around the corner, which John is going to be involved in. So he gives great feedback. One of them is going to be even more of an entry level router too. That is going to be, have that Wi-Fi built in, and it's just a quick fix right there. And then they're going to get more robust, more WAN, more LAN ports availability there. So hopefully we'll see those emerge end of Q2-ish, I'll say. Roughly. I'll roughly say end of
We kind
Q2.
of know what that means. Yeah.
That's what we're aiming for. Again, being with the company for as long as I have, if we're getting into beta now, kind of foreboding anything happening during beta or any, kind of bugs found that way, that I don't foresee any sort of, kind of bump in the road or hiccup on delay there.
Here's the thing. A lot of times, the number one thing that I can see from your guys' company is that you're not out there rushing things.
No.
And a lot of companies do, and then we run into these problems because everything was push, 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 and we just want something that's solid and works. Yes, maybe it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, which, like I said, compared to consumer rate grade products, it has all the bells and whistles that you need. You can
Right.
segment your networks. You can, I've got my IoT devices separated on a separate network through my access point.
Mhm.
And so it's nice to have the ability to do that, and it's very easy to do.
Yes.
Again, I like a lot of people liked the consumer products because they went to a more of a what I'll say a I don't know, maybe a prettier GUI face,
Right.
but it wasn't very usable. And the stuff that they called things, you were like, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means. So when I was in your guys' products, I'm looking at it, go, oh, this brings me back like,
Yeah,
10 years ago, and
that's
it's
right.
and it works, and I understand it, and I get it, and I can
Yeah,
change this and change that, and boom, 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 and I'm on
absolutely.
to the next thing.
I mean,
So
we've definitely got some big players from some very large companies that work in our product development team. So, this is definitely not their first rodeo by any means at all. And we liked one of the things about our company in general is that we really like to keep things easy. We loosely, very loosely, use the word Amazon easy at the office, whether it's we don't want to be more than 2 days away from any particular client to um, just easy store benefits. Because you're working with a manufacturer, we don't have a lot of red tape. You have 60 days, 2 months to try something out, kick it around the office, put it in production, see if you can break it. If you like it, great. If not, we'll give you a full refund. Like, we just want you to experience the products in general. But I like that we have the ability to listen, and we build things that make sense to this channel. So one of my favorite products, and I know it's not like a huge, there's no fireworks coming out of this thing. I call it our dumb smart switch. And it's our 110 series. It's an unmanaged switch, but it's cloud capable. And that was really born because we had so many professionals come and tell us, and our partners say, we are spending the money for layer 2 for the management, but it's really for the back end features. We're not doing, we're not really utilizing the layer 2 features that are built in. We just want back end visibility. And so we're like, well, if you just need to see the switch, why pay for a layer 2 switch? Let's just build an unmanaged kind of dumb switch that can live in the cloud. And so that's what we did. You can see the entire switch. You can take the entire switch down. You can see port statuses to make sure traffic is passing correctly. You can label each individual port, and then again, you have the ability to still take it down and reboot it. But it's just another portal into visibility of the network remotely. Um, and so, as a company, we really try to, like, if you look at our Arachnus networks, and I know you were just talking about the UI, one of the things that we did was, it's a family of products. So the AP, the router, all of the different switches, if you start getting into all of those UIs, they're very similar. You
Yes.
know, it's a like-minded product. So if you just configured a router, it's pretty simple to configure a switch. It's one of the bigger compliments that we get on the switches for sure, is that everybody's texts are like, it's so easy to configure. And I think that goes back to our product development team, just making it, simple. There doesn't need to be any weird terminology or, hidden behind two layers of drop downs, and that's where you find it. It's pretty to the point. You need advanced settings, it's under advanced. So
Exactly.
we try to keep it easy. I mean, even like our surveillance system, for example, our Luma NVRs, we created the UI to be very familiar to, like, somebody's at home DVR for their shows. So you have fast forward, the buttons are kind of in the same location. And these are the people that use it, not always super advanced technically. So from a usability standpoint, that's really important to us, whether it's your text or your client.
Absolutely. And that's good, because a lot of people, I know the biggest complaint I get in my home when it comes to AV is basically, we have all these remotes and I don't know what turns on what, and we need some sort of other remote that's going to control things. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and I get to the point where I don't really want to deal with it. And I'm like, yeah, it's a big pain. So I'm still one of those people that when I get up to turn on the TV, I
Mhm.
actually hit the button in the back of the TV. I turn on the
All right, we gotta
receiver
fix that. I just
manually.
can't. I can't hang with that. We'll get you all hooked up and help you out there for sure. That's. I mean, I'll
Oh,
I'll say too. That's another thing that is a joy as far as being a part of the Aisle8 team for sure, is seeing these businesses expand. Whether you started in computer repair and then guess what? All of a sudden you got that one MSP client because it was, the person's computer that you fixed, it's their business. And now they want you to do the IT for their business. And I see tons of different partners expanding, whether it's into commercial AV, into, because honestly, what you guys do is the difficult stuff, right? Configuring networks, VLANing, VoIP systems, like, that's the difficult stuff. Hanging an IP camera is no different from hanging an access point. It's still a home run back to a PoE switch. So if that makes more bottom line, we're happy to help. We do sales trainings and technical trainings. And if that's something that the business direction wants to go, then any way that we can help, we are happy to. Gosh, we have everything from a keystone insert and an RJ45 jack to a 7-foot server rack and smart devices. So there's somewhere in there that we can definitely be helpful for your business.
and I'll tell you the other thing too is you guys are available. You can actually talk to a human being,
Yes.
and that is very that's not something you get nowadays.
Yeah,
And you can talk to you, and not to make fun of anybody, but we can understand you and um, get the information that we need to get
absolutely.
and go from there. And that's really nice, because a lot of times when you're looking at a website and you're trying to figure out what it is you need, you're like, well, I'm not really sure if this is going to do what I need it to do,
Hmm.
but you can talk to somebody. And like I said, I think you were saying earlier about your 60-day return policy.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Just try the products. I
Hmm.
guarantee you. And I'm a hard sell on this stuff, because I've been working with this stuff for a long time, and I was already the guy who was buying high-end consumer grade stuff,
Hmm.
and I'm telling you, now I am so embedded with these products that I'm like, "No, this is where I'll go, because it is rock solid." I have little to no problems. Now, I mean, internet connection, not everything's always perfect, but,
Yeah.
99.99999% uptime,
Right.
it's good.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we want to hear for sure. We also have an NFR program. So that's not for resale. If you ever want to outfit your office and you want to have all of these devices physically At your office, we have a lot of guys that will actually use Oversee as a demo. So they have their whole setup, and then they want to show their client the value of using Arachnus versus another brand. They can pull up their phone in the middle of a client consultation and say, watch what I can do at my house from my phone. And just to see the list of products, and that being really readily accessible to their IT professional. And I think that really sets the consumer grade from a professional channel only brand. That's really what sets us apart as well. Throughput, great. I'm glad everything works phenomenally and it's a reliable product as it should be. But you guys are the pros, and that's why consumers and businesses call you. So you would think that they would just expect and kind of want that kind of pro grade product installed as well.
Now, when we talk about things like channel friendly,
Hmm.
and which you guys are, and you sell to us at a reduced cost, obviously, and then you have a regular MSRP that we can charge our customers, or anything in
Correct.
between, or however we want to do it.
Yep.
Or like you said, with the SLAs,
Hmm.
the service level agreements, you basically have the ability to, hey, we're just going to sell it to you at cost, because here's the thing. We know how the stuff works. It works well for us. We know it like the back of our hand. So it's going to make our lives a lot easier, and it's going to make your uptime a lot better. So that's
Hmm.
what we're going to do. I don't really need to make any money on it. So you've got a lot of different things you can do. But I love the channel friendly aspect, because a lot of times people are buying things from this person, that person, this company, that company, and
Hmm.
it just becomes, maybe I get a warranty on this, maybe I don't, or maybe it's
Right.
out of warranty because it's been sitting around for what, who knows?
Hmm.
But there's a lot of things in there that make it more difficult for us to do our jobs, versus having that one single entity that we can basically go to and get all this stuff from the information to the hardware to the software. And I just love it.
Yeah, I mean, again, we throw that Amazon Easy around kind of loosely at the office, but we really do. We give free shipping on $1,000 or more. So, and that's not really hard to reach. When you think of a 24 port switch, and maybe some other a watt box, and there you go. There's your $1,000, and it'll ship it to you for free. Um, but we don't want you guys to get price shopped on your products. If you do line item your quotes to your partners or to your clients, we are a manufacturer, so you guys get wholesale cost, and we've got guys that do more of a HOS, or a hardware as a service model, because it's less expensive to purchase directly from a manufacturer versus going through distribution sometimes, because you cut out that middleman. But at that point, depending on how your business model is set up, you can totally do a hardware as a service model. You can sell it outright. You can mark it up to what we have listed at MSRP. We know people have paid it. That's why we felt confident listing it at that cost. But it's just whatever, at that point, you guys purchase the product and you own it. The only thing that we don't allow is online sales. I will say that. Because we are channel only, we want to protect the brand and the pricing and everybody's potential margin. Um, we'd ask that our partners not sell our products through any sort of online portal or their specific store at all. If you Google Arachnus or Google Wattbox, you're pretty much going to just end up back at our website anyway, which is nice. So we hear that a lot, oh, I don't ever really make margin because I get shopped on these products all the time, or I suggest a 24 port switch, and the next thing you know, my client goes on Amazon and buys it. And we're like, okay, well, if you want to bundle it, you can. There's people that do line item sales. There's guys that don't do line item sales, and they'll just say, this is your hardware cost. And then it's not defined in the quote at all. So it just depends on how you're built, but know that we're not going to compete with you. If you tell us you have a huge project, we're certainly not going to call them and go, hey, let us get that job. No, we've got other things to do, but we'll do whatever we can to help you close it too. If we need to hop on a call with you and your client, I'm happy to. If that's what gets the job done for you guys and for us, then that's a win-win for me.
There you go. I like that. Win-win situation.
That's right.
So, yeah, I just keep going back to this is one of the only companies that I know of, and this is why I have been an advocate for you guys since I met you back in 2015, because I'm like, even though I didn't use your stuff.
That's okay. That's a great story right there. I met him in 2015. I never used anything, but I'm a huge advocate for this company. I'll take that as a win as well.
Well, and part of it is because of the channel friendliness that you guys have, and then not trying to outsell us somewhere else, because there's too
Absolutely
many
not.
products and services out there that do that, and we need people that are there for us so that our customers don't price shop us,
That's right.
because it's such a pain to go, "You don't understand. We're comparing you're comparing apples and oranges." And I think
Mhm.
a lot of people just have to get to the point where they go, when somebody goes on Amazon or wherever and buys a 24 port switch, whatever brand it is, doesn't
Mhm.
matter. And they go, "Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't support that,
Yep.
because here's what I support, because here's what I know, and here's how I know that it works, and that's the stuff that I want to support. You want that? Hey, support it yourself, or
Yep.
find somebody else who will support it for you."
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, so now, as far as I know, you said you had some new routers
Mhm.
that are kind of coming down the road, and I've been hearing rumor of that for a while.
I've seen them. I've had my hands on them physically, at least the alpha units. We did take them. I believe we actually took them to. We went to ConnectWise's IT Nation in November, and I believe we took them there to show them. Um, and it was we also came out with a compact unmanaged switch as well that's PoE powered and has one PoE out. That is a huge problem solver. It's just one of those things that you don't think of until, like you said, until you need it and you're like, man, I just need that one more PoE lane. And there you've got like a small compact switch. So we had those together in some of our structured wiring cans. We had um, our wall mounted rack, which is a really, really popular rack, very inexpensive, completely assembled, great build quality. Um, we had that there on kind of a lazy Susan, so you could spin it around and see all the different sides of it. And we tucked a router in there too. So we tried to condense all of our products into another product, which is just another housing. But yeah, we've got the new routers. I have seen them. They are real. They are coming for sure. And you guys will definitely be part of beta, which is awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, the router you have now is solid,
Hmm.
but I'm always looking for, I don't know, the next greatest thing
Yeah.
with bells and whistles.
Well, listen, I know there's one. So we have right now, we have our 300 series router. There's a 310 coming up. So that's going to be kind of the same thing as the Watt Box version 2.0, with maybe some new additional features. We have the one, I believe it's a 100 or a 110 series. That's probably going to be the one with built in Wi Fi. Not a, maybe a little bit less on the features, probably a lot more cost effective. Um, and then I know there's a 510. So if we're at 310 now, we have a 510 coming. There's going to be some more bells and whistles in that one.
I'm in. I don't even know what it does, and I'm in.
Perfect. Well, I will make sure that you get one for sure. Just don't let it sit on your desk for 2 years.
That's right. Oh, well, I mean, that's cool. There's a lot of things that what I like to hear from you guys is that you're constantly innovating. You're not just trying to just shove stuff out there. You are methodical about how you approach things. And I think you're really in our corner to try to help us manage our businesses, which is great, because we need all the help we can get with consumers not understanding what's available to them and what can help them in their business. They're asking us as the experts to come in and provide something for them, and that's what we do.
Yeah. And the same thing, like data sheets, if there's anything that you guys need that we don't currently have, we try to put as much information, videos, training material, best practices. We try to put all of that under support tabs of each product page. But if you need a white paper or if there's something else that we can provide that helps reassure your client, or because that's what we get is when you have a channel only brand and it's not regularly available to consumers, they're like, wait, I've never heard of this brand. We're brand people. And so if you need anything to back that up, any help that I can give, or if there's something we don't have, listen, we've got an entire marketing department, we've got a technical education team, we have um, a lot of people that can help you. Let me know what you need and I will do my best to get it to you so that that can just segue into your client too, and help you close that deal.
Awesome. Now, I do have a question, and I don't know the answer, so I'm going to ask it because I
Sure.
don't know the answer. So, are there any, do you have any video tutorials out there as far as maybe setting up switches and different things like that to kind of see what's in there? Um,
Yeah. So a few things that we try to do again. when we build even things like our website, we take like that, like you said, that methodical process of really what's valuable to you guys. So even just on the website alone, if you go to the router page, there's a screenshots of the UI itself. So even before you make that initial purchase, and if you're looking at a list of features under the spec tab, and maybe there's that one thing that you're looking for, I'm not sure if this router has it. You can actually flip through screenshots of the UI and you'll find your answer. You can see whether it does or it doesn't, but it gives you a great understanding of what you're in store for once you finally purchase the product and get ready to load it. And that's the same on all of our product pages. We want to be as transparent as possible so that you guys can make the best decision that you can for your clients' needs. We do webinars from time to time. I know we have a couple of, how-to networks, and then within that webinar, they'll go into specific details of the UI, where to find certain things, what's the best way to set it up. But again, there's a ton of documentation that's really on the website currently. And a lot of times there is a videos tab. And if there's a videos tab, there's probably videos underneath it. So whether you need a hard-coded document or if you're looking for a video, let me know. I can either send you like the YouTube link, or I can send you the page link of the actual product and just tell you to go snag the video that's there. So we really do try to be as upfront and give you guys as many tools as we can.
Very cool. I like it.
Yep.
Now, is there anything, are there any products and services we have not talked about yet that need to be covered at this point?
I really would just say that when you think of partnering with a vendor, we really genuinely want to see you succeed, and we want to be part of that success with you. And we want to do anything that we can to help you with that. Like I said before, if it's expanding services to add to your bottom line, let us know what you're interested in. We've partnered up with MetaGeek for Wi-Fi assessment tools. That's a great tool if you're doing a lot of Wi-Fi deployments, both residentially and commercial. We also have SureCall for cellular boosting. Should I build the guest network and take up bandwidth from my client? Or should I maybe outfit them with a cellular booster? And then this way, if you're doing any sort of data marketing or anything like that, when people are using their cell phones at your office, anything with foot traffic, I always just say explore it. When you're there doing a client survey, if you happen to notice they have a conference room and there's nothing in it, why don't you ask them if they're interested in video calling? It's a really simple, there's a lot of simple add-ons to business that we can help you with that are not exponentially expensive for you or your client, but at the end of the day, we'll just grow your services, grow your business, and we want to be a part of that and help you get there if that's the way that you want to go. If you just need, have product questions, we're happy to help. We've got about 30 guys in tech support, and they're available from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can always send an email to tech support at Aisle8.com, and they will try to get back with you as soon as possible. But, we really look at our partners as partners, not just a client or a customer. You guys are partners with us, and when you succeed, we succeed too. And so we all just want to just be a part of it together, which is great.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming out and talking to us about.
I'm so sorry it took so long.
I know. That's all right. I'm so sorry it took me so long to use a watt box.
That's all right. I'll forgiven. What I will say is thank you again so much for having us on your show. Anybody that's interested in becoming a partner, again, because we are channel only, you have to get registered to purchase directly from us. You can go to www.onaisle8, and it's ONAISLE, the number 8.com. There's a become a partner link in the top right-hand corner you can fill out. It just gives us some contact information and a little bit of info about your business. There's a reference field. I want you to put Podnutz there, so I know that that's where you heard us, and we are happy to give 25% off your first opening order to anybody that signs up as a new partner from the show.
Awesome. That is great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Alaina, I really enjoyed talking to you. I know I've talked to you before, on the phone, and it was enjoyable then. It's been very enjoyable, and you've really opened my eyes to some of the things that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why we bring this information out. So the one thing I will tell people out there is definitely get signed up, try the products out. This is a business cost.
It's risk-free.
Risk-free,
It can't
60
hurt.
days. Yeah. Try it, throw it together in your own network, see what it's gonna do for you, and then I guarantee you, you're going to start going, "I'm gonna put this out, get my clients, and this is what I'm gonna start doing because it it works beautifully in my home, so it's gonna work
And that's,
everywhere
you
else."
know what, that's what everybody asks for is reliability. Cost does not always matter. It's does it work and does it work consistently? And they do work and they work consistently. So give us a try. We'd love to have it.
Awesome. And we'll definitely have all those, links and stuff in the show notes so you guys can get that information.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Alright, well, I appreciate it, and, if anyone would like to feature their product or service, you can send an email to guest@podnutz.com. And I wanna thank everyone for listening and subscribing to the show. We'll see you next time on the Computer Repair Podcast.